You've been lied to about wealth. You've been told it's about intelligence, strategy, or discipline. That if you just study the markets, master the charts, and play your cards right, you can beat the game. But here's the dark truth. The game isn't meant to be beaten, and even the people who seem to win don't. There was once a man who proved it. He wasn't just smart. He wasn't just lucky. He was legendary. He predicted every crash before it happened, made and lost fortunes that would make today's billionaires blush, and became a myth among traders. His name was Jesse Livermore, the man they called the Boy Plunger, the greatest speculator who ever lived. And yet he died broke and alone in a hotel room, a gun in his hand. A note addressed to his wife that read, "My life has been a failure." How does the most brilliant trader in history lose everything, not once, but multiple times? And more importantly, what does that say about you, about your money, and about the system you're trapped in right now? Let's find out. Before Wall Street had algorithms and Bloomberg terminals, it had ticker tape. Endless paper spilling out of machines, streams of tiny printed prices moving faster than anyone could read. And at the age of 14, Jesse Livermore sat in a Boston bucket shop. Those were the unregulated gambling parlors of early finance, reading that tape like scripture. He didn't have a degree, he didn't have connections. What he had was something rarer, pattern recognition. He noticed that prices moved in rhythms, waves of fear and greed, up and down, up and down. And he realized something most adults still don't. Markets aren't about value, they're about emotion. He started placing tiny bets with the few dollars he had. And in days, he doubled his money, then doubled it again. By 16, he'd made more than his father, a struggling farmer, could dream of. They called him the boy wonder of Wall Street. But Livermore wasn't on Wall Street yet. He was still gambling in local shops, banned from most of them because he kept winning. When he finally went to New York, he walked straight into the real markets and got crushed. Because there's a difference between reading the market and surviving it. The year was 1901. The market was a playground for the rich, no regulations, no rules, just raw manipulation. Railroad barons, steel magnates, and industrial tycoons moved stocks like chess pieces. Livermore thought he could outsmart them. He was wrong. He lost everything. But here's what separates a legend from a casualty, Livermore learned. He learned that the market isn't rational. It's psychological warfare. The tape doesn't lie, but people do. And if you understand human nature, you understand the market. He studied crowd behavior. He noticed how fear spread faster than facts, how euphoria blinded men to risk, how arrogance made even geniuses overstay their welcome. He came to believe markets are just mirrors of mass emotion, and he was right. In 1907, when panic struck Wall Street, Livermore went short betting against the market while everyone else was losing their minds. He made $3 million in a matter of weeks. To put that in perspective, that's like making $100 million today. When the financial system was collapsing, he was thriving. The newspapers called him the Great Bear of Wall Street. Even J.P. Morgan himself. Yes, the J.P. Morgan called Livermore into his office and begged him to stop shorting stocks because his trades were deepening the crash. Imagine that. You're so good at trading that one of the most powerful men in the world asks you to chill out for the good of the economy. Livermore agreed. He stopped shorting. The market stabilized. And for a brief moment, he was the hero. But heroes don't last long on Wall Street. Livermore's genius was his curse. He saw patterns others couldn't, but he couldn't stop chasing them. After every massive win came an equally massive loss. He made millions, then lost them, made them again, then lost them again. The press glorified him as a market prophet, but they never understood the cost. Because every win rewired his brain. Every loss hollowed it out. He became addicted to the rhythm of risk, the pulse of speculation. He wasn't trading for money anymore. He was trading for meaning. And that's the trap. Speculation gives you the illusion of control in a world that makes no sense. It whispers that if you're just smart enough, disciplined enough, fast enough, you can beat fate itself. But the house always wins, even when you're the house. Livermore married 3 times. He built mansions, bought yachts, wore tailored suits that made him look like a king. But he couldn't escape the one thing he couldn't control: himself. He once said, "There is nothing new on Wall Street. There can't be, because speculation is as old as the hills." He was talking about patterns, about how greed and fear never change. But he didn't realize he was describing his own life, because he was living the very cycle he warned others about. Then came 1929, the roaring 20s. Jazz, champagne, easy money. Everyone was an investor now. It was a national delusion, just like 2008, just like 2021. And Livermore saw it coming. He could feel the mania in the air, see the overconfidence in the numbers. He knew the market was about to implode, so he bet against it. He shorted the entire market, massive, leveraged positions while everyone else was drunk on optimism. And when the crash hit, he became richer than ever. 100 million in 1929 money. That's billions today. While America was burning, Jesse Livermore stood atop the ashes, watching the world crumble exactly as he predicted. He should have been untouchable, a god among men. But here's the cruel irony. When you make that much money from destruction, you don't get gratitude, you get hatred. The public vilified him. The newspapers painted him as the man who caused the crash. He wasn't celebrated for being right. He was condemned for profiting from misery. And that's when something inside him broke. After 1929, Livermore's wealth should have secured him for life. But it didn't. His trades grew erratic, his judgment clouded. The same patterns he once mastered began to devour him. He tried to reinvent himself, write books about speculation, mentor others, even start over from scratch. But the game had changed. Regulations came in. The market became slower, more bureaucratic. The raw, chaotic edge that had made him a legend was gone. And without that edge, without that constant war with the market, he lost his purpose. By the late 1930s, he was bankrupt again. The same man who made billions in today's money now couldn't pay his debts. He was depressed, isolated, a ghost of his former self. On November 28, 1940, he walked into the Sherry Netherland Hotel in Manhattan. He ordered a drink, wrote a short note to his wife, then ended himself. The note read, "My dear Nina, can't help it. Things have been bad with me. I am tired of fighting. Can't stand the pressure any longer." That's how the greatest trader who ever lived ended his story. So what ended Jesse Livermore? Was it bad luck? Bad timing? The market turning against him? No. It was the same thing that destroys traders, investors, and dreamers every generation: the illusion of control. Livermore wasn't undone by the market, he was undone by himself. Because once you start believing you understand the system, you stop realizing it's built to exploit you. The market isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's a mirror reflecting the collective delusion of millions. And those delusions are profitable for someone, but not for you. That's the secret every age forgets. The market doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards discipline. It doesn't punish ignorance, it punishes arrogance. Jesse Livermore wasn't just a man ahead of his time. He was his time. He embodied the endless cycle of boom and bust, euphoria and despair, creation and destruction that defines capitalism itself. He lived and died by the same forces that still move your 401k, your crypto wallet, your savings account. And the system hasn't changed, it's just gotten faster. Back then, prices came through ticker tape. Now, it's algorithmic trades and AI models. But the psychology, the greed, the self-deception, exactly the same. Because you can change the tools, but not the human mind behind them. Every bull market creates new Jesse Livermores. Brilliant, obsessive, reckless. You see them every cycle. The crypto prodigy, the meme stock gambler, the hedge fund genius. They all start with the same belief that this time they figured it out, that they're smarter than the rest, that they can see what others can't. And for a while, they're right, until they're not. Because the market always reverts, always humbles, always finds your weakness. Livermore once said, "There is nothing new in Wall Street," and that's the cruelest truth of all. Every generation has to learn the same lesson he did, personally, painfully, expensively. That speculation is not wealth creation, it's wealth transfer, from the impatient to the patient. from the emotional to the disciplined, from the many to the few. And no matter how brilliant you are, eventually you become the many. Jesse Livermore didn't die broke because he was stupid. He died broke because he was human. He could master the markets, but not his own emotions. And that's the ultimate paradox of finance. Success amplifies your flaws. When you win, you stop questioning yourself. When you lose, you chase redemption. And in both cases, you forget that the market doesn't care. It doesn't care how smart you are. It doesn't care what you deserve. It doesn't care about your story. It just reflects what's already inside you and magnifies it until it destroys you. Livermore's life wasn't a tragedy of failure. It was a mirror held up to all of us, to everyone who believes that wealth equals control. That knowledge guarantees safety, that the system can be beaten. He proved it can't, not permanently. Because even when you win, you lose something: your peace, your balance, your perspective. And that's the hidden cost of brilliance. So the next time you see someone online promising quick riches, easy trades, or guaranteed strategies, remember Jesse Livermore, the man who could read the market better than anyone alive. The man who turned predictions into empires and still lost everything. He wasn't just a cautionary tale, he was a prophecy. Because the truth is, the market isn't a path to freedom, it's a mirror of captivity. And if you stare into it long enough, it will start staring back. That's why the most brilliant trader in history died broke. Not because he didn't understand the market, but because he understood it too well. And that's the part no one wants to believe.